Greetings and welcome back to Stellaris, my Commonwealth of Man playthrough. We are gaining about, let's see, that would be 84, about 89, just a little under 89 influence a year. Yeah, it's going to be 88.8 influence a year. So if we are building a hyper relay every year, because they take a year to build, that'll suck down another 25. So we'll be getting about 60 influence a year. And it's going to take us 9 years to at least get down to Hussar. And we are halfway to the amount of influence I would like. So we need about another 300 influence. In about 5 years, we should have the influence level I would like to start this war. And if we continue to gain influence at this rate throughout the war, we will definitely have the influence we need before the war is completed. We're just about done outfitting our fleets. I am just waiting on my stealthing fleet, Strike Force Gorgon, to finish its upgrades. I'm not sure what the holdup is on the upgrades, other than time. Let's look at the station. Yeah, it says the upgrades are only taking a matter of days. Let's see if I move this one up. 8 days an upgrade. So if that's the case, there's only 13 queued up. Unless some of these later ones take longer. Which they shouldn't, they're all the same ship. So there's only 13 queued up, so that means in about 3 months, they'll all be upgraded and I can start moving my fleets into position. So whether this hyper relay is completed or not, we could potentially start the war. And Strike Force Chimera can just stay back here and continue to refit. As a matter of fact, since that one's almost done, let's go ahead and get our alloys back right now. There's no rush on reinforcing this fleet. We will send Strike Force Chimera back to Deneb. That'll take another 3 months. In that time, I should be done with the fleets at Deneb that are reinforcing. Strike Force Pegasus is waiting on one battleship, and I believe that is that one. And it'll be here in 4 months, because it is not building anything else. Alright, so Pegasus, most of our fleets are ready, so we can go ahead and let's go back to the fleet manager. Medusa is my heavy missile one. I don't see any fleets here. What is my espionage level? Only 55. That's the reason I can't see their fleets, possibly. No, they don't have any fleets here currently because they're down here. They went to war. Let's see, can I see them anywhere? Are they in any territory where I have sight visual? All I see are the Gloss-Rohinian fleets. But they are currently at a war over here. So their fleets have been relocated. The only ones that are over here are the Mandate of Massum. Now they do have these star bases. They have lots of defense platforms, which I cannot currently look at. And I can't see what their starbase looks at, but they have a lot of defense platforms here. It comes out to be about 22K. Most of my fleets are around that size. This one, I can see what they have. They have autocannons and plasma throwers, range of 60. Pretty much all of these are going to be the same. They have fairly weak shields and armor. It looks like they just spammed... Oh, there we go. We have some disruptors that have a range of 40. So to take a station like this, that is a bunch of short-range weapons... Can we look at the actual station? Yes, right there. Range of 60, range of 40. They have a bunch of short-range weapons. So we want a fleet that is going to stay back to be able to handle that. Otherwise, we will suffer losses. Now, Medusa does have some close things that come up close. So does Dragon. So does Gorgon. Actually, all of my fleets have something that closes in. But Medusa, for the most part... Alright, the corvettes do have a range of 100, but they do close as in range. So the corvettes will be what I will take in losses here. The destroyers go to medium range, which is and they have a range of 50, so they will come up somewhat close, but they are pickets, which is not really that useful because they didn't seem to have any missiles or strike craft that I saw. The cruisers will hang back and rain missiles on them, as will the battleship hang back, rain missiles, and large weapons. Has a range of 100, has a range of 80. So both of these will, the cruisers and the battleships will hang back. But I may end up losing some corvettes and destroyers, but I think this one fleet might be able to handle that. Now, if I had a fleet that was all long range, maybe my next fleet I will design like that it is all like battleships and cruisers that hang back with no small craft. Then I might have a real easy time taking, no matter how heavy the station is, if they have weapons like that. Yeah, they went with the short range type weapons, the disruptors and the plasma cannons on most of their things. And also I will have allies over here. So we are going to take Strike Force Medusa and go ahead and send them to there. We are going to launch our fleet from Truett. And we are going to send them to Imoletto. I have a 500 fleet strength there. They have 215 there. And let's see if we can see their planets. They've only got a 200. They've only got a 355. Yeah, so we have sufficient armies there to be able to conquer this area, I believe. We will suffer some losses, but at this point, I'm not that worried about the losses. It isn't like I'm struggling for minerals and can't replace. I could actually spam even more armies. And I probably should, because I'm going to need occupational garrisons. Here, alright, I'm going to need 4 occupational garrisons. So we will go to Leffingwell. We do have a military academy here. And we will recruit 2 human assault armies and 4 slave armies of oxen litter. And we will also go to St. Natchbel, which also has a military academy and a slave processing center. And we will recruit 2 more human armies and 4 more oxen litter. So those can be our occupational garrisons when we get over here. They also have habitats, so we will be, but we're not going to actually take over this area. We're going to turn them into vassals. I could actually, what would it cost to claim this area? Okay, this would be 146. 146 for that one as well, and 146 for that one. So that would be another 450 to claim this area away from the Uthapulans and make yet another vassal out of it. I don't know that we will have that, but you know, spamming that many vassals would be even more influence per turn because we would have more. But I'm okay with leaving the Uthapulans as one empire right now because I don't want to wait that much longer for more influence. All right, now Strike Force Dragon, it is all about tearing down armor with all of its things, and it comes in close, and it has strike craft that will ignore the armor and start doing some hull damage. But yeah, it's all about melting armor. It does have some shield depletion, but not a whole lot. We will send Strike Force Dragon, because I believe it will be able to handle this, down to there. It says currently it's going to take 2 years to get in position. Well, they're all close range. That's bad. We're also going to send the Fortress Legionnaires to Hazar. Pegasus, it is a brawler class, but it is really good against, because of the torpedoes, it's really good against hitting big targets. This is heavy on the torpedoes. So it will do bonus damage, and it does have one that kind of hangs back a little bit. But for the most part, this thing comes in close. So the defense platforms here would really tear it up. Bombala does not have defense platforms, nor does Hannon. So we could send Pegasus to Jaundice to prepare to go there. Alright, so Medusa is going to Veribazu. Dragon is going to take Massam. Fortress Legionnaires are going to hold there. Gorgon is still waiting to upgrade. And Hippogriff is waiting on upgrade on ships. Hippogriff is going to stay here at least 7 more months till all of the battleships are in. Now, Hippogriff is another, it has a brawler, and it has one that hangs back at carrier range, and another that hangs back at carrier range. Actually, Hippogriff might be a good one to go hit some of the heavily armored ones when it is done, because the ones that it has that do go up close are destroyers. They have a fairly decent evasion, but these two will engage from a much further distance and possibly take out the platforms at severe range. So yeah, maybe Hippogriff is the one that will go to Veribazu instead of Medusa. Or Hippogriff can go to Jatham. Yeah, Hippogriff will go hit Jatham. And when Gorgon is done, Gorgon, I am going to go ahead and see if I can sneak in to get more visuals. See where I could hit them. Especially their units that are fighting that might possibly be wounded. Having my cloaking fleet strike up on them and do some damage to them would be great. This looks like it's the Tendrazun. Yeah, they've taken over that. The Tendrazun will also be helping by pushing into territory, so we're going to be helping in that war as well. But we'll go ahead and start moving ships that don't need to be idle into position. And for now, it looks like we are collecting all but a handful. It was like 27 and 19 would be 56. No, 46. Yeah, 46 trade value that we are not collecting. Oh, no, there's another 6. 52 trade value that we are currently missing. And getting one more range would get 27, 30 of it, leaving us about 22 that we are not collecting down here. These 16 and that 6.
Skywatch has sighted a spaceborne life form.
Where? I really wish it would let me know where. There's Space Amoeba over here. Alright, Space Amoeba, they have strike craft. So let's have Medusa before it gets in position for Veribazu. Let's have them go after them. It'll take 5 months to get over there. We still got 7 months before Hippogriff is ready to move anyway.
Ships refitted.
Strike Force Gorgon is now refitted. We are going to send it to Hazar, uncloaked right now because it would take 2 years. We are picking up quid pro quo. Carefully worded rhetoric will make it clear that our support comes at a cost. Those we help owe us, and one day we will collect. So we'll get favors for any resolution I support, the empire that proposed it. I'm going to go ahead and move this science ship over here. It only takes 2 months to get there. Actually, let's go ahead and cloak and just send it into Pavera. United Latrepian domains are in a commercial pact with the autocracy of Rakaron. Now, as Dragon comes
complete.
through here, I'm going to meet this unidentified empire, and I may divert to deal with those space amoeba, which also reminds me, let's go ahead and cloak this ship and send it in here. All of my star bases are completed. The Anchorage ones have a hydroponics bay and a resource silo. Caspadine Station has a hydroponics bay and a mercenary garrison. And Larkin Singularity has a hydroponics bay and the Black Hole Observatory, in addition to the Curator think tank. Hegemony of Ubaria is in a migration treaty with the Interstellar Picarian Coalition. I have changed some species rights. The single lithoid and the single praku I made indentured servants. Since they currently have natural sociologists, I moved them to proclaws to be archaeo researchers. Eventually I'm going to make one of these, probably the one with the gaseous byproducts, a soldier instead of a indentured servant. They're going to become the battle thralls because lithoids make better soldiers. They have a 50% army health that the oxenlitter does not have. When I can eventually give them very strong, they would be much better battle thralls than the oxenlitters. Although I think the oxenlitters would do better with gaseous byproducts, and the Gleers should probably get volatile motes. I don't know. Maybe we'll give the oxenlitters the volatile mote production, though we don't really need that so much, it appears. That also reminds me, I am currently running a clear blocker one, and I haven't gotten around to clearing the blockers I can now clear, which I believe are the impassable mountains. So we need to start clearing the impassable mountains. Vast range of tall impassable mountains stretches across this region from Flaxington, and there's one other planet we have it on. Yes, Doran. That will allow us to expand both of these a little bit. They were at their cap. I could get a couple of industrial districts or something, or maybe some generator districts, or just more city districts. It really doesn't matter here right now because we are at our cap. We could eventually have 6 more buildings if we built a orbital ring for habitat expansion. So we could do some industry on this world. As for Doran, the same thing. We could eventually have 6 more districts and do a little bit of an industry here as well. I also am going to deactivate or add population controls for the Ichner Vol. Now we're going to do an experiment real quick. This Ichner Vol is 3 months away from completing. When I add the population controls, we're going to see what happens. Because we have plenty of Ichner Vol right now. Now, it won't update for a little bit, but I want to see if it just shifts over and loses a little progress as if I had forced growth, or if it resets completely. That's what our experiment is going to see. And it may not update for an entire month, and he would have been 2 months away by that time. Yeah, we have 2. Our stealthed ship is in the same sector as an amoeba. Our fleet is still 2 months out, or a month and a half out.
A new world has been secured for our colonists.
Yeah, it completely resets progress. So it's a good idea if you're planning on shutting off breeding rights for a population to manually shift away from it first so that you don't lose any progress you already had. So Melpomene is now up and running. It is going to be a mining area. But we will start, because it helps with population growth, with the gene clinics. It'll also provide a little bit of amenities, and that should help population be produced here faster. As a matter of fact, we could probably shift both the colonists away to the gene clinics till we started getting more humans over here. We're about a month away from engaging this fleet of space amoebas. A Foxerin collective closed their borders to us. General Saburo Watanabe died at the age of 95. I will wait to assign a new leader till we're ready for war. There's no point in having a general we're not making use of right now. Now, I do want to slow this down a little bit more and actually watch Medusa in combat here. Let's see how far away they are when they engage with these amoebas. It's going to be a relatively easy fight. Crown Prince Jumani gained logistical understanding, reducing ship and army upkeep. So he has Investor, which is trade value, Destroyer Focus, which reduces destroyer cost, and Logistical Understanding. He's well aware of the importance of properly structured supply chains.
Fleet action underway.
Alright, they have engaged at that range. They're not firing yet, so it was the space amoebas that engaged with their strike craft, I think. We are shooting down their strike craft. They have done a little bit of shield damage to us. And the fight was over relatively quick. All we took was shield damage. And Norrin Reapers are no longer a valid rival for our empire. So we need another rival. Well, we have the Glosswerhenians. We could get the Citizens Alliance of Orcam Fung. The other rival we have, I believe, is... Who is our other rival? The Fel Null. And they are actually not part of the Federation. Now, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I gotta wait a month to declare the rivalry because it's not gonna let me know. Yeah, even waiting a few days, I gotta wait an entire month for that to correct. Now, Strike Force Medusa needs to head back to get ready to go into Verabazu. Strike Force Pegasus is in position, and its last reinforcement has arrived. Strike Force Hippogriff is still waiting on its final reinforcements. Alright, she is going to research the projects in this system. I can go ahead and decloak. After you research the projects in this system, you're going to head here. She's still got a ways to go. She's only 37. Now that's interesting. Our Empress is 37 years old, and her heir is 29. What was she, 8 when she had a kid? Or did she adopt him when she was 8? Or when she was older, adopt a teenager? Tenderzun have recalled their embassy from us. Alright, let's see if we can get Felnal as a rival, yes. So we can get our half a point back.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Multi-dimensional analysis. Studying something from the limited perspective of a single-dimensional reality does not paint the whole picture. Every angle must be considered. 3 years for space-time theory. A year for self-aware colony ships. I think we'll knock that one out. We will have another colony en route when we change this world over, and we will be getting eventually habitats and possibly the toxic world conversion. We also got vitality boosters. Where the body fails, science intervenes. The Hypercoms Forum is the one I'm probably going to go for out of these options. I can upgrade all of my buildings to provide even more unity. It'll only take a year and a half. Yeah, if we look at the current ones that we have, the heritage sites, that'll be a 50% increase to the unity. I know we have at least 10. Actually, we have 17 with the potential to build an 18th here on Melpomene when we get around to it, which will probably be the next building we build there after the gene clinics. With the gene clinics, we can delay getting the holotheaters because they provide enough amenities to make up for when we shift away from colony. So in about a year and a half, we'll get all 3 of these techs knocked out. Whoa, what is this? The Interstellar Picarian Coalition wishes to declare war against the Felnal Cooperative with us invited. I can't get to them, so I'm going to have to decline this war. I'm sorry. Now let's see what that has done to our relations with them. Oh, we don't have enough intel to know. It looks like it dropped by 50 by declining their war. But I'm sorry, I can't help you in a war over there when I can't get to you. Besides which, I'm planning on stealing your vassal because they're still pledging secret fealty to me.
Tracking spaceborne life form.
Now where? I mean, I know about the space amoeba there and this unidentified empire there. We're eventually going to get over and be able to clear them out. But that's all I can really see. Why is Safe System churning out stuff for Hippogriff when all of it said it was coming out at Poligar? Well, that's the last ship for Hippogriff. So Hippogriff can start moving. And I believe Hippogriff is going to Joltham. Now, instead of doing all my fleets in a huge ball, I want to see how well they perform. So that's the reason I'm only taking them as individuals right now. And yes, I'm doing some challenging fights as individuals because my fleets are about a 20 to 30k, and so are these stations. Yeah, both of those are in the 20s. But I want to see how well these fleets I designed will actually perform. Jazz Gavazi awaken psionic abilities. All Jazz Gavazi throughout the galaxy have undergone a great change, whereas before their latent psionic powers had only blossomed in a small minority. The entire species has now unlocked its full psychic potential. Although these changes seem to have originated in the Citizen Confederation of Gavazul, they have now manifest in all members of their species regardless of where they reside. Aside from displaying an array of powerful psionic abilities, Jaz Gavazi have started to forego verbal communication with each other in favor of telepathy. They are a vassal under the hierarchy of Moffith. But that sounds like they just completed that tradition tree.
Construction complete.
All of my military stations have added their mercenary garrison back that I had replaced with the Fleet Academy.
Battle debris secured.
Got a little bit more to the amoeba breeding program. As soon as this gene clinic is up and running, I want to favorite it, so that they'll work it instead of the colonist jobs. That'll help with the growing more humans here until, and I should be, it'll only be about a year and a half before I get my colonists back, so. There. I had to shuffle some population around because I was losing alloys and couldn't continue to reinforce my fleet. I have plenty of available jobs for like metalworking and stuff like that. And even artisans. I just don't have the human population to work them. And this ship is idle. I don't have the alloys. That's right. I'm actually not going to rush buying the alloys. I need to allow things to build up. My ships will already be down there, so this is not that critical. Building the hyperlane network, the longer I take, the better chance they have of actually starting on a hyperlane network themselves. This is going to set me back on my next tradition by about 6 months. So it'll be back up to 6 years. But the first Ascension tier is fairly cheap, so I think I'm going to go ahead and grab it here on Unity. It will do a small increase to resources from jobs, and this has a lot of jobs to boost. It is my highest population. It'll also reduce my empire size a little bit. Right now it's saying it's actually 748 because I had a population grow. Now the next one is expensive, so we're going to hold off on getting another one. But yeah, that dropped it 4 points, and it's going to boost another 2.5% to everything here. And it's a small increase, but it should be noticeable. Because right now, with the low alloys I'm getting because of all of my current ships' upkeep, I need to get more of my metallurgist jobs working. We have a new proposal. Enable the council veto power. I was going to propose that, but I'm glad I didn't have to waste the influence on it. So the hegemony of Ubaria, who isn't even in the council and isn't associated with anybody in the council, has proposed this. So it's going to disappear when I destroy them if this hasn't entered session by then. Galactic Council should be granted the power to remove frivolous proposals from the resolution queue. And again, the second one is the cheapest to veto. Actually, my alloys went down, but that's probably because some things got built or moved away from locations. So yeah, I didn't see a noticeable increase that much. And it also may have shifted some pops around. I did have these kind of heavier that way. Hegemony of Ubaria declared us their rival. We've got about a year left on the Fortress Legionnaires. I'm going to go ahead and renew that, extend the contract. Yeah, the price has dropped. Good. So waiting was the thing to do. I've got about 8 more months before Dragon is in position, but Dragon is going to sidetrack to take care of some space amoeba. I got a Spark of Genius for Francesco Bianchi. He is my military theorist. Kind of wish Rupert would have gotten Spark of Genius so he could power through stuff faster until I get the one I need. Oh, those have relocated. They look like they're just going through the system. Let's enter orbit there, and then see where they go from there. They may go into Massam. If they do, I can't do anything about it. Rishethian state embraced the Alien Freedom Society and became more xenophilic. I'm in sensor range of them. I do not know why I haven't met them yet. Federician League is in a migration treaty with the Rishethian state, and we have a new proposal. Change council size to 4. Necessity demands that we adjust the number of members of the Galactic Council. 4 would be best. Nope. I want less people in the council. The Aphoxeran Collective proposed this. I don't know why, since it's the sovereignty of Tuxcali who would join.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Self-aware colony ships. Sufficiently advanced systems are capable of optimizing themselves if they are made acutely aware of the purpose for which they were made. The Particle Lance. Disruptors. Alright, the Particle Lance would take 5 years. Advanced combat roles would be a year and a half. Disruptors would be a year, as would Shield Capacitor. A little over a year. Now this is a dead-end tech. There's nothing after Shield Capacitor. No upgrade to it. So I think we'll go ahead and knock that out. And I could put my Spark of Genius in here. Yeah, she has an upkeep of 1.8. The minute I assign her, she has an upkeep of 0. Orbital habitats allows the construction of largely self-sustaining orbital habitats. But yeah, 10% to my Corvette hull points would be 20 extra hull points. That won't save me from the minimum damage of most weapons here. It's not really going to help a whole lot. Now I could start getting started on another round of upgrades, but I think I'm going to get a lot of this through salvage. This would give me something to put in. Now see, that's a starbase building. I need more modules, not buildings. Now I could knock out this hull points in 6 months just for a reroll, but I think the modular engineering is a better choice. So we will get started on this, since she is very good at that. It'll only take 10 months to knock that out, and that will reduce the cost for modules when I start building orbital rings. Interstellar Picarian Coalition embraced the Alien Protection Network and became more xenophilic. Adnoran League is in a migration treaty with the hegemony of Ubaria. How are the Reapers doing? They still have pretty much... Oh, they have lost some of their territory, I think. Yeah, I think they were pushed back a little bit there. Alright, why have we not met these? Why are we not getting the investigate for this space station? I'm pretty sure it's a mercenary company. But I have a fleet 1 sector away. This is not a nebula. I am not cloaked. Why do I not have contact with them? Okay, we're about in position with our cloakable ships, so we're going to cloak. That's Tendrazun. That's the Verzak. Is that all the Verzak controls? They're part of the Tendrazun conglomerate, allied to them at least. I don't see defensive packs. And I don't see them being a vassal. So that is another vassal we could pick up by conquest. But yeah, they are not listed as a vassal. The Tendrazun don't really have vassals anymore, it appears. I realized I had forgotten to send any transport ships this direction. I mean, it's not really that critical. I could worry about capturing this area and locking it down first, and then send the transport ships this way through this territory, and just kind of hold here, but I would like a few transport ships so that I could conquer them. Of course, I could just occupy the system and bombard until I get transports over here. So I don't necessarily have to wait on the transport ships, and there's also the possibility that the autocracy of Rakaron will bring their transports. Now, am I finally going to get to meet this empire when I jump into the system? Alright, those space amoeba are moving on. So I will have to take care of them when I enter Massam.
Tracking spaceborne life form.
Where? Really, that needs a pop-up. Otherwise, I've got a huge map that I don't know where it could possibly have popped up. And I'm only really interested in nearby. Star Realm of Shar made peace with the Yarrow Reacherin Divine Order and took one system. So they should be down to 2 now, the Yarrow Reacherins. Yeah, and they're split, so they took their back sector. Actually, I could uncloak and have met them, but I swear, I don't understand why Strike Force Dragon has not met them yet. They've got a sensor range of at least 2. Alright, my cloak ships are moving up here, so I can start getting some visuals through this territory and see where the war is taking place. United Nations of Earth is in a commercial pact with the Rishethian state. And I've begun the construction of the first hyper relay there. It'll take a year. Alright, we finally met them. They went away as an... Really? You're still showing as an unidentified empire even though I'm in the system with you? I mean, you're not showing here. I'm not getting the option to investigate them. I decided to decloak my science ship and send it back, and as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and recruit another scientist. Particles. Leader experience gain. I think we'll pick up that one. Now that may delay us a month possibly there if we were fractional enough. But yeah, for some reason I'm not making contact with this mercenary company, even though I just sent a fleet through the area. Okay, now I've met them. Bastion Devils. The autocracy of Rakaron already has their fleet. So I can send this back here. And Strike Force Dragon is getting in position right there. I'm about 3 months away from needing another order with him.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Local hypercommunication. Not all research into faster-than-light communication channels produces useful results, but some outcomes may find new purpose in bringing our people together. Ecological adaptation allows us to terraform inhabited worlds. That's going to help. Now that is going to take 2 years. And once we do that, we can terraform the last 2 worlds we have that are not continental. And I can go ahead and shut down volatile land clearance. There's no point in running it. I also ended up closing a lot of the chemist jobs. There was no need for me to have them running when I need the people doing other things. And I can go ahead and get started on upgrading all of these buildings. I should have the minerals to handle this. It only takes 600. It'd be about a little over 6,000, maybe closer to 7,800 to upgrade all of these. Actually, it'll be pretty close to 12,000. Because I do have 17 of them. And it will take almost a full year on most of these worlds. 8 months to 10 months. And I can only, well, it's not going to cost me so much because I can't upgrade the ones that haven't achieved planetary capital status. But by the end of the year, a lot of those should be upgraded, and it should boost my Unity significantly more. Fortress Legionnaire Enclave plays dividends. We got some science with that. That's going to cut some time off of these. Only about a month and a half at most, because we will burn through that stored research in a little over 2 months. So it's going to cut 2 months in the end off of all of these. We're going to begin making our claims. Massam was 211. Huff is 223. And to claim Vuzabaru is going to take 182. So that's going to be at least another 10 months before we can claim that one. And I would like all of the claims done before I start the war, and at least 100 influence banked, so that I can make sure that I have built up enough by the time I complete the war to shift these 3 quickly to vassals, so that
Skywatch has sighted a spaceborne life form.
I am not suffering the lack of stability from them not having humans on those planets. I just want to get rid of those planets and have them switch their settings around and start maintaining the planet with the aliens they've got. Of course, it is going to be interesting because they're going to copy my empire. That's going to be bad. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, we don't have enough stored research to fuel another month of boost. Following the recent sensor sweep of the Podanis system, Admiral Andreas Schwartz has learned how to deploy his units to maximize their sensor range. Few fleet commanders possess the skill to carry out such complex maneuvers, so that one got Scout, which is awesome to have. Yeah, see, I've got Trickster, and I've got 2 copies of Trickster, the Cloaking Strength and the Combat Disengagement, and an Emergency FTL Reduction and Combat Disengagement. And of course Scout, which boosts my speed a little bit, which is nice. That's the Miravandian coalitions. This is controlled by the Miravandian coalition. These are controlled by the Tendra Zun. The next Nexus is a member of the Allied Independent System. That is another one I could conquer and then spin off. But if I look at the population of their planet... Oh, I can't. I'm not close enough. But yeah, they are mainly robots, I believe. Our alloys are starting to improve as we're growing more humans.
Science Division reports success.
Modular engineering. Streamlined starbase construction procedures use modular designs will reduce the present build cost and time. Improve strike craft. Not really that critical. Destroyer hulls. 10% more destroyer hull points. Our destroyers, that would be 60 more hull points. Okay, that would give them 2 more shots with a small advanced railgun. But that would not even get the minimum damage covered on a plasma accelerator, and it most likely wouldn't cover a medium or larger railgun. So I'm not sure that is worth it. The main reason to pick up these techs now, in my opinion, is not the hull point boost that it gives you, but because they count as the same tier as the ship it was designed from. So this would count as a tier 2 tech if you need it to unlock tier 3. And it's a dead-end tech, so it'll remove it from the list. It would only take a year to get that, but that's not that useful to me, I don't believe. Improved strike craft would end up being close to damage of the destroyer, other ones we use. There's one upgrade past this one that has a average damage of 40, But with the 33% bonus, that is less damage than the strike craft we're using. I don't think we're going to bother to upgrade the regular strike craft at this point. So these two techs are ones we will end up ignoring. I think we get started on Quantum Missiles 4, because I don't see my enemies using many missiles anymore, and I would like to get my missiles maxed out. So yeah, that would take a year and a half, same as the civilian repli complexes, which would be more consumer goods, which could fuel more of my others. But yeah, let's get the quantum missile. Actually, I think that is the final upgrade for the kiosk, so if we do get this, that's one less option that'll be popping up. Oh, the Mandate of Mazum has hired a mercenary fleet. Griffin Services.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Shield capacitors. These capacitors store surplus energy which can quickly be transferred to reinforce a ship's shields. Improved sensors, the tachyon sensors, or the improved hyperdrive. Tachyon sensors would take 3 years. The hyperdrive would take 2, and that should unlock being able to get the quantum catapult. Let's get started on hyperspace slipstreams. A Obadin raiding fleet has been detected approaching our borders. Intercepted communication indicates they have been hired by a rivaling foreign power to attack our systems. They are transmitting a message directed toward us on an open channel. Cowards huddling in darkness have asked us to face you, since they are too afraid to do so themselves. Are there any human warriors honorable enough to meet us in open battle? Then, or must we plunder your systems unopposed? Show us your worth. Are you actually going to head this way? Obadin Horde. Would they be listed as a hostile fleet, perhaps? They're way the hell over here. So if they're being sent toward me, I'm really not that worried about them just yet. I'm not going to do like I did the other time, and I'll just worry about it if they show up. I do have... It's only a 5K fleet right now. I do have Strike Force Chimera, and I do have 24K defense platforms, and my fleets are not that far from my border if I get a pop-up about their incoming fleet. Miravandian Coalition has broken their migration treaty with the Glossworhinians. Since we supported their resolution, Star Realms of Shar now owe us a favor. Now that's a powerful favor to get. Star Realms of Shar is the one with the most, so a favor from them carries a lot of weight. If I were to call in a favor. Yeah, that's 7,500 weight. Minor administrative sanctions should be next in about 2 years. I can't do an emergency measure for over 10 years. Let's see, 10 years would be 3,600. That would leave another 500. That's 11 and a half years. So we just passed administrative insight. Really all that's going to do is reduce our loyalty from our just a minus 0.2 to all of these, or 0.25. For right now, that's not going to have a major impact, but it's a precursor to getting the next one up. Borderless authority cannot be proposed for 7.5 years. Our alloys are starting to climb steadily. I ended up closing out a lot of jobs I didn't want people being grown into, and pretty much leaving the metallurgist and just opening up more consumer jobs as I need them. And one thing I have been doing is, right now I have it growing randomly, and the only options here are human or farine. Well, I am moving agriculture off of Unity, because we had enough agriculture on other worlds it was okay to move it off of Unity, and I had been shifting them into industry. So I believe I will end up doing the Ecumenopolis project here on Unity. But when I had populations grow on worlds like, I think, Destiny, I don't currently have any specialist or higher jobs for humans to work. So when I get an extra human who's a technician, I'll trade him to another world for a population of an Ignorval. I'd been doing that with Unity, trading off. I had Ignorval as clerks, trading off those clerks to get more metallurgists and fill up Unity. And I'm basically doing that to other worlds when they need a pop, if they happen to be growing something else. If another world that doesn't have jobs for humans, one of my resource worlds, grows a human, I'll trade them off-world. Star Realm of Shar has defeated an ancient threat in the distant Mura system. I have no idea. Oh, I do know what was there. That was... Nope, there is the Void Spawn, isn't it? Or the... Yeah, there's the Ether Drake. I have no idea which Leviathan that was. That is... Mura is most likely going to be the Leviathan. I mean, the Yankee Matriarch. Or it could have been a Void Spawn. Since that was a cracked world, it could have been one that hatched a Void Spawn. Well, I have enough influence to do another... I mean, enough alloys to do another hyper relay here. And then get in position for the next one. Now that is going to delay me starting the war. I need basically 20 months, so a little under 2 years. So we should start the war, if nothing else happens, by 2345. The Star Nation, formerly known as the Hour Reacher and Divine Order, has been destroyed by its enemies. United Kresh commonality. Rishethian State declared us their rival. Uthabulan Union entered a migration treaty with Interstellar Picarian Coalition. Still waiting for the third member to declare emergency measure. Soren Combined Clans has declared the Tender Zun their rival. Are you actually... The Tender Zun can't be that powerful. The Soren Combined Clans has actually dropped. See, they're getting 1,500 from fleets, 16. Glosswarhenian have 5k from fleets base. So do the Sovereign Jazajan Assembly. 16k from fleets for the Star Realms of Shar. 9k of fleets for the Hierarchy of Moffith. 5k of fleets for me. So I'm equivalent to the Glosswarhenian's fleet size. But I'm falling behind the Hierarchy of Moffith and the Star Realms of Shar. But I get a lot more diplomatic weight from it. I'm getting equivalent even with the smaller fleet. I'm a little behind in upgrades, and that should change after this war. Mandate of Massum is in a migration treaty with the Star Realms of Shar. Soren Combined Clans stopped guaranteeing the independence of the United Kresh commonality. Allied Multics territory entered a migration treaty with the Mandate of Massum III.
Tracking spaceborne life form.
Again, no pop-up, don't know where. Democratic Galarian Union is in a migration treaty with the Uthabulan Union. Who died? Oh, my Admiral of the Hippogriff. Well, they don't have Cloak. We'll just get the adaptable one. Admiral Salvador Flores. We still have quite a ways before this planet is terraformed. Alright, we're halfway done with this hyper relay, and we will have built up the 500 we need, so I can go back to reinforcing every now and then. I'll do a reinforce in October, and by the time I get to the next location, I should have built up 500 more alloys. Plus my alloys are steadily climbing again. Now another thing that causes fluctuation here is when their economies decrease or increase, and it affects how much I either get in taxes or have to pay them. Soran Combined Clans was given association status, again with the Allied Independent Systems. Let's see how long it lasts this time. I believe when I go to war with them, they will probably drop it. Looks like the Tender Zun are making another push. They ended their association status.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Replicator kiosks. These kiosks can replicate any pre-approved object if its pattern has been stored within their memory banks. Oh, we get a L-Gate insight, the synthetic crystal plants, the upgraded mineral purification hubs. Get started on Durasteel armor. Alright, we're going to knock out the synthetic crystal plants. That will only take 9 months, because we can turn some of these worlds into refineries if we need to supplement our strategic resources. And that'll give me a quick reroll. Well, the L-Gate insight would take... I'm not worried about the L-Gate insights, I'll be honest. It'll only be 2 years for Durasteel armor. Let's see, we're going to get network movement in 11 months. That is a ship upgrade. None of these would knock out... The kinetic battery would be the closest. That would give us 2 upgrades about the same time, so that we can start working on others. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get started on the kinetic battery instead. It'll be about a year for those. We're going to get ecological adaptation in January, and then we can start terraforming St. Natchbel and Truett. I was checking around because we're getting close to the AI having their full bonuses. Yeah, they have a 247 trade value here on the capital of the Uthabulin. And I can see their bonuses. They're getting 96 from difficulty, because they get about 100% on Grand Admiral. And I also wanted to compare how effective their scientists and stuff were compared to mine. Alright, their farmers go from a 6 base to producing 30 food. They have 336 Empire bonuses. So one farmer is producing 30 food for them. If we look at my capital, one farmer for me, half that. My Empire bonuses, I don't have anywhere near that. I have 65% Empire bonuses. Now they're about, have the scaling modifiers. They get double to Empire-wide bonuses, basically. So if I was an AI Empire, that 65 would be 130% bonus. And I also decided to check out some of their ships. I did see the Uthabulans have a cloaked ship over here. The Breach Fleet, they have a cloaking level of 1. And if I look at their bonuses, they have 20% frigate hull points, 25% to armor and shields. If I look at their specific damage bonuses, they have a 25% energy weapon damage and a 20% ship weapon damage. I also saw a very large fleet of the Glossworhenians here. They have a 44k fleet. It is 130 capacity, just 10 more capacity than mine. Now some of my fleets that are heavier on the battleships do tend to have higher values. Like this one is almost 42. That's not too far from theirs. But a lot of my smaller fleets that are kind of a mix with a few battleships, yeah, they're below 30. but we're still fairly comparable with them in strength, even though they do have some more advanced weaponry. That's a mercenary company. Yeah, if we look at their battle core here, they have the level 5 Gauss and they have level 4 shields. Other than that, it looks like we are comparable. I have better reactors than them. And the hull points, they do get a bonus to their... Yeah, it's their armor and shields, but I thought they also got a bonus to their hull points. But yeah, they have 3,000 hull points, about 4,000 armor and 4,000 shield. If we go to one of my battleships, I have just slightly less average than them. I have only 3,000 armor instead of close to 4,000, but I have 4,500 in shields instead of under 4,000. So that would put my average around 36, where their average was around 4,000. So we're not too bad off. Now, I'm thinking of moving some envoys around. Currently, we have a spy network with the Adnorn Reapers. I'll leave that one there. We have one with the Miravandian Coalition over here. One with the Soran. One with the United Nations of Earth, the Glostwarhenians, the Hierarchy of Moffith, and the Uthabulan Union. I'm thinking of moving the one from the Uthabulan Union out. I may keep it for the duration of the war, but eventually I'm going to move it to the Galactic community. So, because I want 2 here in the Galactic community. I still do have a decent margin, and when I rob them of some of their allies and vassals, I will have more. Because we're planning on taking the Hegemony of Ubaria, the Uthabulan Union, the Mandate of Massum III. Those 3 will be pulled out of here and switched over to be vassals of mine. That would just leave the 2 Miravandians, the Rishethian State, and the Glirin Union in here with them. Oh, and the Citizen Alliance of Orkenfung. So they'll have the Alliance of Orkenfung, the Glirin Union, the 2 Miravandians over here. Rishethian State is way over here. So the Rishethian State isn't going to participate in this. I don't think they'll be able to get to us. I don't think they'll have time unless they already have fleets en route for this war. But yeah, the majority of the enemy fleets are clustered around here. They're moving to an unknown system. I'm not exactly sure where they're headed. But they're not over here where their war is taking place. And if we take a look at the current state of this war, it's nearing the end. Both of them are fairly exhausted. Right now, it looks like the Tendrazun are in control of quite a bit of the Miravandian coalition. The Glostwarhenians are actually in control of the next nexus, but I'm not sure what they have in the way of claims here. I think since this was Rebel, the Tendrazun do have claims in this area, because a lot of this was originally Tendrazun space. The Tendrazun actually have a little bit of a foothold here as well. Now my plan, I want to have 300 influence banked when we start the war, and I want to let my influence build up to be sure that I can handle the vassals by the time the war is over. Handle switching the areas I've claimed directly to vassals, and I won't need to renegotiate actual vassal contracts yet. But anybody I have to end up claiming, I want them to be able to switch over to being a vassal, which is going to take influence. After that, I am going to start rotating what I spend my influence on. I'll spend it on a mega or hyper relay or mega structure of some sort. I may start in on doing orbital rings or building habitats. It depends on how many are banked when I decide I want to spend. After that, I need to spend some on espionage, and then I need to spend some on colonies, because I do have some colonies that will require things that require influence. like Mastery of Nature, for example, and others when I unlock the Arcology project, for example. And then the next one will be something diplomatic, whether it is the galactic community or renegotiating a deal. And I will just keep rotating through that way so that I'm not trying to focus on one area too much and gradually growing all around. But I do need to get some habitats up and running. I think I'm trying to decide where I want my first habitats. Now, Finn Habanus might be a good spot. I could get quite a bit of minerals. Do I really need minerals and energy credits? I am kind of dependent. This is one problem. I am very dependent on taxes. I'm getting 2,000 from subject taxes. If those taxes were to drop, I would be in a big problem. I'm getting 800 here, 300 here, 300 consumer goods, and 130 alloys in taxes. All of this is taxes. Now, the reason taxes can be an issue, crises. It is very likely when a crisis, especially an endgame crisis, pops up, that they will steamroll wherever they pop up. And if they start eliminating my vassals, my economy is going to crumple like crazy. So I can't completely ignore my economy. I have to continue to build up my economy so that I am not so reliant upon my vassals. But as for where I would want my first habitat, maybe we just start in Deneb and work out from there. So what would we have in Deneb? I could build a research station over New Luna. You can't build over moons. So I could not build over these two. But I could build a reactor over Olympus, a research station over Marble, a mining station over Jackson's Planet or Tumbleweed, and a energy credit place over Hyperion. Any of those would be able to allow me to turn a lot of my other worlds that are resource gatherers into ecumenopolises or ecumenopoli. But maybe research should be my priority. So my first one will probably end up being over Marble here. Turning that 6 engineering research into a actual research station. And I also want to churn out about 3 more science ships. I currently have the alloys, I think, to do this. Yeah, they're 55 apiece. We're going to build 2 science ships right here at Safe Station. I'm going to put one that will follow into Bombada and one over here to follow into Jatham. And I want to build another science ship over here at Shaula. And we are going to send it down to Hazar. Because I want a fleet of science ships handling these debris so that I can get through the debris very quickly. Instead of having one ship queuing up like 4 or 5 debris, having multiple ships that can sweep through and take out the debris. So I will need to hire more scientists when that happens. And I think I'm also going to end up building more constructors. Right now, the factory is idle. I think I will do my first orbital ring over Unity. And then start working out from there with it. But I will need additional constructors because this one's going to be occupied for a while working on this hyperlane network. I will need another one that is working on orbital rings, and I will probably churn out another one to start working on habitats. And if it comes up and I am ready to do some other sort of megastructure construction, and I do not have an available ship because all of these will take years to complete, I may end up churning out an additional one to get started on another project.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Hierarchy of Moffith has leveraged cancel powers to declare the resolution neutral defenders an emergency measure. That's about mercenaries. Being at war without hired mercenaries is banned. I actually do have a mercenary company. I'm supporting this one already. I will let this one go through. So I was wondering when the third person was going to do an emergency measure. We completed ecological adaptation. By adapting planetary ecosystems to large-scale environmental changes, we can turn terraformation into a less disruptive process. Oh, the Ancient Rampart. That's a starbase module that adds more defense platform caps and gives you armor hardening. That's actually pretty interesting. We can get an additional envoy by upgrading our embassy. We could add more fleet command limit, get up to 140. That would take 2 years. The Ancient Rampart would take 16 months. Am I actually going to use that on anything? Let's see, it would increase hull points, armor hit points, armor hardening, and more defense platforms. I'm not even using my full allotment of defense platforms currently. It'd be about 2 years to get more diplomatic weight and an additional envoy. So the fleet command limit or the Xeno relations will take about the same amount of time. This one will give me a little bit more unity and access to the deep space black site, which gives a little bit more stability. And that is actually a building. But let's get the Xeno relations. We want the diplomatic weight badly. And being able to upgrade to the Grand Embassy Complex and get an additional envoy is great. We could even move that off-world into the orbital ring when we build it. That would free up a building slot back on the planet. We could switch it to, say, bureaucrats. My additional science ships just popped up. So we're going to send one to here. We'll send this science ship to here. And send this other science ship over to Jaundice. I should have had another one pop up. Only two were built. No, only two were built quickly. The one getting built over here is going to take a little longer. There it is. Alright, and that one is going to Hazar. And we'll just send it to the station. I have begun the terraforming process. I should have actually done it back in January, but it's not going to be a huge deal. On the two remaining worlds. The tropical world, St. Natchbel, is going to take 40 months to complete. Which is just under 3.5 years. Because 3.5 years would be 42 months. And the desert world, or arid world, or whatever the hell it was, savanna world, is going to take 80 months, which is just over 6.5 years, 6.5 years being 78 months. So in about 3.5 years, this world will be terraformed to no longer be tropical. I wonder if the habitability value for the Farine will still be 100% when it is no longer their preferred type. We'll have to see. I'm curious, but I'm not that worried about them. They're mainly entertainers and domestic servants and clerks. I'm still 3 months out from being in position for this other relay, and it's going to take me about 3 months to get the alloys I need to churn it out. We have a new proposal. The Guardian Angels Act has been proposed by the Star Realm of Shar. This one has been on here before. I think I supported it before. The soldiers that dedicate their lives to keeping our planet safe should be recognized and honored. I agree with that. I just don't want any of the follow-ups. This does reduce diplomatic weight from fleet power and increase army upkeep, but it boosts defense army morale. I think at this point, I'm going to oppose this. What's keeping my planet safe is not the armies. It is the fleets. So I'm more interested in supporting the fleets over supporting the armies. My armies are all invasion forces. Of course, we could do that for the garrison armies. They do serve, but they don't count as defense armies, so they will not get the bonuses. What I mainly have are assault armies. I ended up about 8 alloys shy, so I'm going to have to wait until next month Well, I can go ahead and do it now while time is flowing. Oh, let me pause it for the peace treaty anyway. So the Tendrazun have made peace with the Glosperhenians. The Tendrazun got a few systems. Now they have closed borders with us, so that's going to stop us from pushing forward unless we also declare war on them. So this is just going to be a hold point if they send armies up this way at this point. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to push in. I was hoping to push in to get the Verzak. The next Nexus is also independent, it appears. So I could get the Verzak, the next Nexus, and the Genlot. But I would have to declare war on the Tendrazun to get in here now. I could... They no longer have vassals. I could also vassalize them at this point. It shouldn't be too difficult. I just need a status quo. I could just rip out this section right here and leave them that section for a later vassal. And I might end up claiming that one since it's separate and claiming this one. But we could actually, depending on how well the war goes over here, we could save that for a later date. I do need to check what is the current relative power of subjects has increased by -8. So it went from -20 to -28. And their trust of us has dropped because we dropped all of the agreements we had. We don't currently have a commercial pact or a research agreement. I wouldn't mind the commercial pact. I just wanted to drop the migration treaty. But a commercial pact would cost us another 0.25, I think it is. And it's very small bonus to us, but it would build up trust. Of course, we need an envoy there, unless they want to improve relations with us. Their opinion of us will drop by another 68, which will give us 0.68. They'll still be positive when that drops. But yeah, we lost 50 points of trust with them by breaking the agreements. They still have a trust cap of 100 because we still have a commercial pact and a research agreement. They still have a few ones we do not. Let's see, that's the Multics. That's the Multics. This one, nobody that we are in a deal with has kinetic batteries. And we are in a deal with the Soran, which is interesting. Through hard work and experience, Empress Carla has developed new skills. Eye for talent, leader level cap, and leader experience gain. Nice. Leader is considered to be unusually perceptive, spotting talent where others see only eccentricity or incompetence. So that is the only one that she's given us that is actually really useful. The Explorer is completely useless to us, except, well, no, we did get the science ship reduction for 3 ships. And Frontier Spirit, we built 1 colony ship and have 1 colony developing, and potentially another one in about 3 years. 3 years would be 1,800 days, almost 4 years for this one. Yeah, that would be 70 months. Actually, that's almost 6 years. Yeah, that is almost 6 years. 1,800 is not 3 years. 1,800 is 5 years, right? And so this is 5 years and 300 more days, which would be 10 months. This is 2 months shy of 6 years before we get the Tomb World converted and can... And I can actually start sending a colony ship before it's done. No, not while it's terraforming. Okay. But I could go ahead and build the colony ship and have it in orbit when it gets close, like in about 5 years. So 2350, I will start building a colony ship so I can just send it there. I'm going to go ahead and go to Vuzabaru, the last system I haven't put a claim on, and place my claim. We'll have the 100 I want built up in 3 months. Uthabulan have declared the Fel Null their rival. They have a cloaked... Oh, the reef has returned. No, these are new fleets they are churning out.
Science Division reports a new breakthrough.
Hyperspace slipstreams. A new generation of hyperdrives capable of accessing the subspace slipstream that are present within hyperspace. This leads to dramatically improved drive performance. So the particle lance, the neutron launchers, the disruptor, and then of course the ones we have saved down here. All of these are getting expensive. That would take 2.5 years. That would take 3.5. So it's a year quicker for space-time theory, which will also boost my research. Disruptors would take about a year. Let's go ahead and knock out disruptor technology. Multics have that. So that'll take me about a year to knock out, about the time I get Xeno relations. We'll have the kinetic battery in 3 months. But we're not going to be doing a ship upgrade during the war, I don't believe. Tendrazun has declared the Glossworhenians their rival. Star Realm of Shar has defeated an ancient threat in the distant Elior system. That was the Ember Drake, I believe. So Star Realm of Shar is just decimating Leviathans. That's the third one, I think. I'm not sure there are any Leviathans left. Let's see. Let's talk to, not the Riggins, the Curator Order. There is something we haven't seen yet. So not everything has been destroyed. Well, also this Dimensional Horror. I know there's a Dimensional Horror there. And I thought there was another Dimensional Horror somewhere. That may have been the other one they destroyed. But no, I think it was somewhere around here was another Dimensional Horror. It might already have been destroyed. So we're going to pull Strike Force Gorgon back. When we're at war, this will be the furthest system we could actually be in. Right here. So we're going to use this as a point to see if they are using Tendrazun space to get to us. But the war will start at the beginning of next episode. We'll go ahead and declare it against the Uthabulans to vassalize them. And of course we've got our 3 claims we're going to be grabbing. And what I would like to do, because I doubt just occupying this territory is going to complete it, I would like to be able to leave my allies over here watching the Trappist system, because that's the only way they can come in. I will just have somebody take point and remain here with my allies to catch any of their fleets that come in, and to be able to sweep over here and get any fleets that pop back up. And the rest of my fleets will head over here, and when we get to Hazar, I will probably end up declaring war on the Tendrazun to rip out this area. While I'm at it, getting the Verzak, getting that system probably claimed, grabbing the next Nexus, and possibly that system, and then pushing on through to get to... hopefully I can end the Tendrazun war fairly quickly, but I want to push on through, keeping this war going, to get over to the Glossworhenians and probably grab the Jin lot along the way. But it has been another 5 years, so thank you all for watching, and hopefully we'll see you next time.